Where you from?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I'm Shelly. I'm 39, but I don't look your I will say, I don't look your typical 39, so I'm proud of that.
Shelly.
Yes.
You look 39. It's okay though.
Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Millennial Smark, and I'm bringing you the slop, the whole slop, and nothing but the slop. I just won't get it. Why do wrestlers keep putting their foot in their fucking mouths? Dude, you are still in a situation where people are trying to find it in themselves to forgive you for your alleged racism, as far as how you treated your fellow wrestlers and the bullying accusations and all of this. Choose your words wisely. Why do you keep sticking your foot in your fucking mouth? Okay, link is down in the description box below. Let's get directly to it. I only want to read one part of this article because that's the only thing that concerns me. You guys can read the rest if you like to. Tessa Blanchard says terms to return to TNA in early 2024 were a little bit insulting. Tessa Blanchard is on record stating that she had conversations with TNA Wrestling in early 2024, around the time of the Hard to Kill pay-per-view in January. She ended up coming back in December of that year at the Final Resolution event. She had last been seen with the promotion in 2020. The summer of that year, Impact TNA terminated its relationship with Blanchard and stripped her of the world title. Earlier that year, multiple wrestlers came forward and accused Blanchard of bullying and making racially offensive remarks in the past. Blanchard opened up about the road to returning to TNA when she guest appeared on Reffing It Up. She shared that she chatted with now former TNA president Scott D'Amore and now former head of talent relations Gail Kim around the time of Hard to Kill 2024. She stated that the terms to come back were a little bit insulting. She turned down the offer, and then the talks picked back up when Moose reached out and put her in contact with Ariel Schnurr, former senior VP of content, distribution, and marketing for Anthem Sports and Entertainment. And I quote from Tessa Blanchard, It was kind of a crazy process to return to TNA. So when I was in Mexico, Scott D'Amore and Gail Kim had reached out for me to come back at Hard to Kill. Like a year before I actually agreed to come back, and we got into a few talks or whatnot, and honestly, I hate saying it, but it was a little bit insulting. Even like the terms to come back, and I was like, you know what? I'm happy right now. I'm happy in Mexico, and it's taken a lot for me to get to this level of happiness and wrestling again. Because I had stepped away for quite a few years. I was like, if I feel in my gut that something doesn't feel right, I'm going to listen to that, and I promised myself that, and so I ended up coming back at Hard to Kill. That was where I won the world title. How poetic, right? But I ultimately turned it down, and I felt confident in that decision. I went on to do more with CMLL, and then Moose had reached back out again. Moose got Ariel and I talking, and it came back up for, hey, maybe Tessa comes back at Genesis. Like, that'd be her first match. And I think it was December of last year where I was a surprise at the Atlanta tapings. And that's all I want to read from this passage. Now, to me, I think this is a complete nothing burger because, for all intents and purposes, if you read the entire article and if you read this excerpt in itself, she was pretty much suggesting, hey, I felt like I was in a better position in Impact Wrestling, and I kind of wasn't going to come back into that same position, and I feel comfortable in CMLL right now. Why would I want to go back through the stress, especially in the States where everybody fucking hates me? Which is true. Everybody fucking hates her, and everybody still fucking hates her. The problem with this, though, there's two things. There's a problem with. One, the way Tessa comes off, Tessa does not recognize, and this is what I mean about reading the room, getting a PR team, just listen to what the fuck you're saying. Now, I'm gonna take it at face value, and I'm going to say to myself, you weren't in the position that you would like to be in because you were in a bigger position when you were in TNA Wrestling, when you were their World Heavyweight Champion. Clearly, you wanted to be back in that position. And for any talent, I would like to think that, hey, anybody with any sense would probably say to themselves, I'm coming back to a company. I want to be back in the former position I was in recently. I'm a bigger talent where I feel like I should be able to garner that position. Any other talent in that position, anybody else in the world for any fandom will probably be like, yeah, that makes sense, right? Trish Stratus leaves. She comes back as a legend. She's constantly put in premium positions when she wrestles other women. Same thing can be said about Alita. Pretty sure Charlotte Flair gets injured, she comes back, she will get that same position, right? Alexa Bliss, somewhat the same thing. Rhea Ripley leaves, will be the same thing. Liv Morgan, when she comes back from her injury, same thing. If this was a position granted to any wrestler, anybody with any sense of semblance would say to themselves, oh, okay, I see where she's coming from. The problem though, Tessa, is the fact that you left wrestling. You left Impact Wrestling in particular when you were two things. It wasn't just the racist allegations and all the stuff about bullying the other women, but you also left Impact Wrestling high and dry. You were missing shows. You were no call, no shows. That's why they got rid of you. You weren't reliable. You didn't give back the World Championship for how long? You were unreliable. You no-called and you no-showed. And for you to leave and go to CMLL, that's fine. No one is saying anything bad about you going to CMLL. If anything, that's the smart choice. Build up a repertoire. Build up a catalog. Try your best to be gone for a while, and maybe, just maybe, I don't know, it'd be pretty hard, especially living in this day and age where you're held accountable for literally every single thing that could be as small as humanly possible. But for your accusations, for your situation, you're going to be held accountable for the things that you allegedly did that, from a societal standpoint, is ostracized worthy. So why on God green earth, why in God's fucking name would you go out of your, God forgive me, I didn't even say God's fucking name, but you get what I'm saying though, God forgive me. Why would you go out of your way to say, because you sound arrogant, you sound pompous, you sound entitled. How do you not hear yourself saying that? I am insulted by how they decided to give me a contract with probably different terms that was lower than the standard as to where I was beforehand. Dude, you're given an opportunity to work with the company stateside that you completely screwed over multiple times. Not just the no call, no show, but the fact that they gave you a position and then it comes out that you were this kind of person and now they get backlash for essentially, for all intents and purposes, how fans look at it, enabling a racist. They gave a racist a position. I'm not saying that, but that's how the fans are looking at it. Because again, it's all alleged in the end of the day. It's all alleged, but still, that's how fans look at it. And then you say all these things, and now people are looking at you and they're like, oh, now the racist is entitled. How dare you go out of your way to screw the company who tried to give you a chance, and then they try to give you another chance, and then you say to yourself, nah, I'm gonna big time you guys. Look, I get it, you're happy in another company, but don't just say that so outright. That's so dumb. How do you not optically see how that looks? How do you not see that? But it gets even better, because now you have people double fucking you up right now, because it's not just the fans, it's now the workers and the business. Because then Gail Kim drops this little caveat in a tweet earlier. She says, I noticed my name being included in this article, the article that I just read for you guys. I am about clearing up misinformation when I see it. I had zero to do with any contact here. I didn't even know Scott D'Amore contacted this talent in 2024. So it's already bad enough, right? You already know how Gail Kim gets down and everybody of her ilk, okay? She's a hardcore social justice warrior, okay? Now, all you do is pretty much feed the father, or feed the fodder, F-O-D-D-E-R, of that fan base, because now you have the beloved wrestler, right? A legend in women's wrestling who already hates you because of how she perceives you to be, right? Now you have her essentially going out of her way to signal boost how fucking retarded you were to actually include her name in something that she herself had nothing to do with. And this could all be an accident. This can all be a case of, well, there's a possibility that Gail Kim, 9 times out of 10, was probably in that position or mistakenly in that position, and it was really just Scott D'Amore. And then you essentially just did guilt by association, assumed Gail Kim was in that position right next to Scott D'Amore to hire you back, to coax you back, when in actuality, she had nothing to do with it. So now, there are people underneath Gail Kim's thread in her Twitter post, and they're just now dissing you. They're now further dissing you. Look at this, bro. 100%. This was another executive's call. Someone who's no longer with the company. Still, that executive took a gamble on her. She should show more gratitude. Most companies would have scrapped the idea of pushing her after the initial backlash surrounding her return. Yes, absolutely. That's where I'm getting at too, looking at all this. That's how it comes off to most people. And like I said, it would have been bad enough if you would have just not included any of them, right? And you would have just done your stupid fucking, dude, this is so dumb. Because I get frustrated seeing stuff like this because I'm one of those people that says things such as, you know what? Even with the alleged racism and stuff like that, maybe there's a chance, maybe there's a reason, maybe there's an opportunity where, I don't know, she's a better person, right? Maybe all the bullying allegations, and trust me, folks, for people like, why do you keep saying alleged? I have to say alleged because I truly don't know by definition whether or not this has been proven or not, right? All I have is word of mouth. Am I inclined to believe that she said all this stuff? Yes. At the same time, though, alleged is alleged because we still have no proof whether or not she said it. But that's besides the fucking point. You come off as ungrateful as fuck. Or ungrateful as fuck. And then you include another legend who's in the women's business, who 9 times out of 10 you could definitely use as an ally. It'd be very fucking hard because, again, it's Gail Kim, and she's of the ilk where forgiveness is nothing when it comes to a white person, especially when you do something as egregious as this. It's like, just no matter how bad these people are as far as their mentality goes, right? How unforgiving they can be, how slanderous they can be. If you're in that sphere and you need an ally, why would you piss them off is unbelievable to me. I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. This was completely unnecessary. And once again, it makes me look stupid because if I defend you, right? If I go out of my way to personally defend you and I say, oh, guys, give her a second chance and stuff like that, and then I get called Uncle Tom and all this other kind of stuff, that shit doesn't bother me at all. I don't give a fuck about that, right? I don't care. What I care about, though, is that someone can now certainly move the goalposts and now suggest that you shouldn't be here because someone took up for you. Someone took up for a quote-unquote racist. But if you don't believe that she's racist, how do you defend the fact that she sounds like a pompous asshole? And at that point, you just throw your fucking arms up. You throw your fucking hands up and you say, okay, you know what? Sure. Why not? And it's not just her. It's not just her. Fifo gets caught up in the crosshair too, right? Fifo gets caught up in the crosshair because A, they interviewed a so-called racist. And look, this is not me sticking up for Sean Ross Sapp or his company, but gotta say what I gotta say when it's at least in my face. You got someone who's quote-unquote sticking up for a racist by platforming them in any shape or form, but also they look like clowns for spreading misinformation, essentially because they didn't follow up by interviewing Gail Kim and getting her 2 cents on the situation. When all in all, they probably just took it as a very minor inconvenience to want to interview someone to get their 2 cents as to whether or not they were in place to hire them, when it just seems very, very inconsequential, because why the fuck would someone lie like that? Because she clearly wasn't trying to lie like that. It just so happened to be the circumstance that she probably thought at the time was occurring. But again, this would not mean anything. Sorry, I am crashing out right now. I am unnecessarily crashing out because this is so frustrating. Tessa Blanchard has all the star-making appeal in the world to be the next Charlotte Flair. She has everything going for her, and yet she keeps making these bumbling dipshit decisions. And it's asinine to me. It's frustrating to me. It's frustrating. It does not have to be this way. It does not have to be this way. I'm putting the fucking wrestling in the forefront, not someone's politics, not how someone is engaging with someone's personal life or whatever the case may be. If it's not something egregious like murdering or touching, being a child diddler or anything like that, or if it has nothing to do with anything that is outright fucking egregious, me personally, I can look past all that fucking, tone policing and all that fucking bullshit. I don't care about that. When it comes to wrestling, I want one thing and one thing only. Quality character, quality storytelling, and actual star power. And Tessa Blanchard has it all. And I want to see her succeed. But when you constantly do dumb shit like this, bro, how, man? How, bro? You make it hard for people to want to give you a chance. You make it hard for people to want to give you an opportunity. I gotta get some thoughts on this. Some comments down in the comment section below. How do you feel? How do you make of what Tessa Blanchard said? Do you feel that she's ungrateful? Do you feel, at the very least, if for nothing else, she just doesn't understand that, like, the way you speak, the tone, the messaging, you have to understand that you are in a position where people are trying to see you fail. People are looking for ways to see you slip up so they can capitalize on it. Is it smart to give bait to the sharks? Is it smart to spill blood in the water? Unintentionally, intentionally, it doesn't matter. Is it smart? Is it smart to feed the sharks? Like, she's 30 years old right now, man, or pushing 30 years old. You would think by now she would know fucking better, but apparently not. Apparently not, man. Just keep stepping on your own fucking foot. Stepping on your own goddamn dick. Shitting where you fucking eat. Makes no sense to me, man. Girl could be a huge fucking star nowadays, but just making it harder for herself each and every fucking time. Then you want to say, oh, I was so much happier in CMLL. Motherfucker, like, you're happier in CMLL, but you can be stateside and just as happy if you just shut the fuck up. Or just recognize how much of a fucking clown you sound like when you say this type of dumb, diabolical, stupid shit. Comments down, please speculate. Let me hear it. Go for it. As always, my name is Devontae, aka Millennial Smart, and I'll be catching you fine folks later. A deuces and a pea ice.